this is sort of a part 2 to my basic thoughts thing, so go watch that first. Um, one of the other sayings that's like a saying, I don't know yet if it's a basic or fundamental, we'll get there, but one of the other sayings that I don't know when and where is useful is like the you can't know everything saying. You can't know everything about this. And I think there's so many contexts to that saying, which I think in itself is a basic statement. You can't know everything, period. But also, I think one that goes into retention, two that goes into application, and then three that goes into like usefulness. Let me write this. The retention of you can't know everything is just like plain and simple, like a, you know, people scroll on their devices all day fucking long and they're like, I'm gonna go do this thing. I'm gonna go blah blah blah. You're telling me this fun fact. Let me go share that. You're gonna forget it. And that's, you know, not every single person has a photographic memory. And the retention of things also has to do with like time span, no, attention span, and which is a whole nother thing. But not retaining information, it has so many other reasons as to why, and environmental factors, you know, genuine interest. And this, like, I mean, a retention of information that, like, you retention of information, whether you want to retain it or not, has a huge impact, huge, for the most part. Application of information, of you can't know everything, is like, yeah, you can't know everything, but also the amount of things that you should know, or for a job, for a thing that you're doing. It's like you can't know everything, but you probably want to know about XYZ. Like I think that you can't know everything application wise gets fishy, because it's like, you know, if I took a class that we made bronze, I don't know everything about bronze. I don't know the history of bronze. I don't know a lot about bronze. I know how to be safe when handling that kind of stuff. And it's like I didn't know half of the things that I was doing even when I was doing that. And I couldn't have known everything in the time span that we were doing it. It was class. Like there's stuff like that that, like, yeah, you can't know every single thing about a thing. Maybe you can. Maybe you can. And at what point then is it like, then what can you do with that? You know, like the application of it becomes so much more specific then. Like the difference of, you know, doing ceramics for 1 year versus doing ceramics for 100 years. What is really the difference of those kinds of things? Like the amount of phases that you go through with the information that you just gather over just time, and that being applied differently, those things are very different. So it's like, at what point, when you want to learn about something, and this might be just subjective and it might be a flow thing, like with a hobby, you might try out a hobby, do it for a month, and then give up on it. You might try a hobby and it will be your hobby for the day that you die. You might do a hobby for 3 years and then just hate it one day. Like, those are all things that application of knowing about something is just fully subjective. Holy shit. Who's getting home at 4 a.m.? Why is my dad getting home at 4 a.m.? Usefulness. The usefulness of knowing everything. Also, oh my god, I could talk about this for a long time. I have pretty strong opinions about art and about why people make things and about what people make things about, what I make things about. Like, I have pretty strong judgments and shame and all of these things. And yeah, believe it or not, I give a fuck, and I forget that often. I like am like, I don't care about this thing. No, I give a fuck so much about it that I'm like consumed and I forget that I give a fuck. Because, yeah, the usefulness or the use to non-use ratio of, like, you can't know everything is so insane. Because it's like, there's this peak, and people talk about this a lot, is like, you know, I had a professor who explained it as 4 a.m. confidence, and I love that thought. It's so funny to me, especially because right now it's 4 a.m., believe it or not. Oh, because I said that a second ago. 4 a.m. confidence is this idea that, like, when you're about to go to bed or, like, you're up late with friends and you're talking and you're like, yeah, tomorrow we're going to start that fucking business. Like, we're going to do that business and we're going to be billionaires and blah, 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 blah. Good morning. Thought gone. And that's like a confidence thing of maybe not knowing about anything at all. Like, I'm gonna learn how to fucking climb Mount Everest, which is a generic thing that people use, but it's a idea of, I'm gonna conquer this thing I have zero clue about. Which, the knowing nothing about that thing makes it feel possible. It makes it feel extremely possible because you don't know any of the factors, or the factors that you might know about seem so nothing. They seem like nothing. I could just do this. And then when you start to learn about things is when then you learn about the fucking complicated. This is not a complicated thing. The more you learn about something, the more difficult you fucking find out it is to be. Whatever. And that's like a detriment, obviously, to where at a certain point, and I wonder this, and this is, again, possibly a subjective thing, to where there's points where it's like you might know too much and you lose sense of the viewer or the person or someone else that you're explaining this to. Like, if I'm making something and it's like, what's something stupid? If I'm gonna go back to my cake analogy. If I'm making cakes and I know a lot about cakes, I know what what flour to use, I know how eggs work within temperatures and stuff, and I know how ingredients scientifically react with each other. The person eating the cake doesn't give a fuck about that. They care about the cake being good. And it's like, you as the baker, like, you get that, but you forget about it sometimes. Like maybe the process is what's interesting to you. Maybe the final product is all that's important, so you actually don't give a fuck about the process. You know, like as an artist, like, there's times where someone makes something and the process is their entire point. It's like, don't even look at the final thing. The final thing doesn't matter. I did this thing, you know? And you're supposed to look at this thing, and this is just the product, but that product's made you think of this thing. Which, like, I've used that a couple times, and I love that as a thought. But then there's also parts of, like, a lot of people, and majority of the people, which this is unfortunate to a certain extent, and yet also is functional, is, like, a lot of people don't care about the process. And that's what got into my whole thing in the first video of tonight, which was not understanding how a thing works. Like, I think the process of something happening, the process of something existing, nobody knows about when it comes to a lot of things that still people use. Which is, again, you can't know everything about everything. Like, there's millions of people, this is one example, that will live and die never having understood how a power line works. That's fine. Is it? There's things like that I don't understand. I don't know how to build a wall. I don't know how to, change a tire. These are, like, stupid things that, like, community, you get into that whole conversation. But it's like you can't know everything about everything. It gets into this time management conversation. It gets into this, like, it's a basic thought that can be, like, very much like, you can't know everything about everything, flicked off. But it's also like, no, but what do you choose to know about? What are you choosing? What are you choosing? Oh my god, this is my big ending. Look at me and my timing and how amazing. What the fuck are you choosing to know about then? Because you are choosing to know about stuff. And you're choosing to not know about others.